In the meantime, however, we'll continue paying attention to what's going on in Tennessee, and we'll bring you any news as we get it. Now, at 29 after the hour, very pleased to have with us on the program Ken Hanson, attorney for the Buckeye Firearms Association. Ken, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Cam.
Thanks very much for coming on the program tonight.
Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. So today was the day that the Friends of the Court Briefs were doing the Chicago gun case. We've got a number of them to talk about, including one that the Buckeye Firearms Foundation and the U.S. Concealed Carry Association has filed. Can you tell us a little bit about what your brief focuses on?
Sure. We were very excited to team up with the United States Concealed Carry Association. It was a logical match for the type of brief that we were going to file with the court. The type of brief that we filed is typically referred to as a Brandeis brief, named after the author of the first type of this brief back in I think it was 1903 was the first time it was filed. But while the other briefs concentrate on legal arguments, they concentrate on interpretation, historical sources, and give the court those reasons to find for incorporation. What a Brandeis brief does is give more like policy overview type of viewpoints, empirical evidence on the ground. This is what's really happening in Chicago right now, justices. You should understand that this is not working.
Okay.
There's no legitimate policy reason for it, and in fact, here's a whole bunch of legitimate policy reasons against it.
Okay, and so what did you find, Ken, as you took a look at what is taking place in Chicago right now?
Oh, it would be funny if there wasn't human misery on the end of it. I mean, for instance, we took a look at the year 2002 when Chicago was the murder capital of the United States. And then in the year 2003, they adopt this Project Safe Neighborhoods program. They're going to do all these things. They're going to get a hold of these people when they're coming out of prison. They're going to teach them not to be gang members anymore. They're going to tell them about how you're going to face increased prosecution and this, that, and the other. And then in 2008, 5 years after this program has been in place, Chicago is, once again, the murder capital of the United States and is seizing almost to the gun the exact same number of guns off the street that they were in 2002. It's almost like you could set your watch by the amount of crime and the amount of guns, illegal guns being seized in Chicago. Clearly, their gun ban is having absolutely no impact at all on the criminals. I mean, it's almost a direct line as far as the number of guns that are seized, the number of guns that originate in Illinois, the number of guns that have no origination because they're imported from outside the United States or whatever. But it's almost laughable. And then we go into the problems with the corruption inherent in any city that's dominated by a political machine, the problems that the police department has been having. And then the brief moves on to show how the people in Chicago are currently second-class citizens compared to the people in Washington, D.C., because the folks in Washington, D.C. currently have the benefit of the Heller decision. That means they're the beneficiary of a shall-issue licensing system within the home, can carry guns for self-defense, whereas in Chicago you can't. And then most importantly, perhaps, to gun owners across the United States, the last part of the brief talks about how visitors to Chicago are, in essence, third-class citizens. They're not even as good as second-class citizens because Chicago and Illinois make no provision whatsoever for non-residents. And really what we talk about is, hey, when someone goes to Chicago, their First Amendment rights, their Fourth Amendment rights, their Fifth Amendment rights, Sixth, Eighth, they all travel with them. It's only the Second Amendment where they have to stop at the city limits and throw those out of the suitcase to continue on the journey.
All right. And this type of brief, the Brandeis brief, you called it, right?
Yes, sir.
It seems to me like, Ken, this type of brief is going to be very important as the justices, look through all of these papers because context. It's great to have the legal theories out there, and obviously they're necessary. But the more information that these justices have to put in context is going to be very important. I'm sure that the city of Chicago is going to try to make the case that the gun ban has in fact been very successful. And is in fact desperately needed in Chicago. So it's great to have the evidence that documents this gun ban's failure.
Yeah, and the analogy we used in the brief was, they're being as successful fighting crime with a gun ban as they are in fighting shoddy construction by banning hammers. I mean, it's just not working. The empirical evidence on the ground the criminals are not being impacted by the ban at all. The only people that the ban is disarming are the victims.
All right. Well, Ken, as always, sir, I appreciate you coming on the program. Is the brief online at BuckeyeFirearms.org?
Yes, it's on at the Buckeye Firearms website. I think U.S. Concealed Carry Association was also going to do a PR release on it, and then Alan Gurr has been doing a real good job all along keeping the various filings posted on his webpage, which is ChicagoGunCase.com.
All right. Ken Hanson, thank you so much, sir. Look forward to doing it again soon.
Thank you, Kim.